Hello, welcome back to the LineStar MLB DFS breakdown. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. It helps us out a ton to keep giving you all the free content we possibly can. Today's slate, Wednesday, April 26th, main slate. So make sure to be a LineStar sub. Best deal in the industry, $30 a month. And now let's get into the slate itself. We got an 8-game slate. Does start early today, so make sure to remember that. 3:35 here on the West Coast, 6:35 on the East Coast. So that is one thing to pay attention. We are lucky that we have 2 slates today. Early slate has already started, and we got the main slate later. Now let's look at pitching. I think pitching is really interesting today. A lot of different ways to go. On DraftKings, the highest owned pitchers are all super cheap. So what this is telling me is most likely people are paying down for pitcher. They're going to pay up for hitting today. So I would expect the Angels probably to be fairly high owned. Hitting wise today. Now let's get into pitching. First, we got Patrick Sandoval, almost 45% owned, and he probably should be. I mean, he's just way too cheap for his projection. The projection across the industry is pretty high. He also has a fairly decent ceiling versus this Oakland offense that 23% K rate versus lefties, super low ISO. They haven't been good against Sandoval in the past, and Sandoval is just a decent pitcher here. So if you look at that BVP data, it's 40 plate attempts, 171 average against them, and a 28% K rate. The combined K rate for him is 20 today, though. So Sandoval's fine. High ownership, though. That's the only reason I would be thinking about fading him. I think there are a lot of ways you can go. Steven Matz, next highest owned here. And, he's been decent. But this Giants offense is starting to come around a little bit. They have been striking out a lot, 30% versus lefties. So that's really why Matz is interesting in this spot here. And a low 131 ISO versus lefties. So take that. The combined K rate is 27%. So versus, Sandoval was 20%. Salary-wise, they're very similar spots. Matz is actually cheaper. He may have a little more upside. Sandoval is going to be safer, but I think Matz has the more upside. Now we have Elder at 34% and Alcantara at 19%. I'm really interested by Alcantara when he is this low owned, and we know he has the type of ceiling that he does. He has done really well versus the Braves in the past. So that Braves matchup doesn't scare me all that much. Alcantara hasn't been what he was last year yet, but I think it's in there, and I think he can pull it around. He is a guy that's hyper efficient, works really deep into games, and with that has a combined 24.4% K rate today. So it is very interesting to me, especially with him going low owned. On that other side of the Giants matchup, we have the Giants pitcher, DeScalfani, 15% owned. He's interesting. Logan Gilbert, extremely good pitcher, only 13%. Drew Smyly almost had a perfect game last time out. I don't love him in this matchup, but it is really nice pitching weather in Chicago. Hunter Brown, exciting young prospect. Contreras has been really good. Way too cheap at 5,700, but he is against this Dodgers offense, which can be decent here. Senega, I think, is a little overpriced. Gonsolin, he's going to have a pitching limit, so you probably don't want to go there. And then Luis Medina, he's a young, exciting prospect, called up from AAA, going to be going today. I don't love it, but he is too cheap. And with the Angels likely being a high-owned stack, there is some leverage going there. So I understand going there. And then Mackenzie Gore is interesting. He's been pretty good to start the year. Last year, he was super good. So I don't mind you going there as well. Like I said today with pitching, there are a ton of different options. So don't get stuck on just the high-owned guys. You could probably get a little different today on that aspect. Now switch over to FanDuel. Let me go to the main slate here. And same main slate for FanDuel. It is 8 games, and the highest owned pitcher is still Patrick Sandoval, although his price here is way higher than it is on DraftKings. So take that under consideration. In this situation, with this ownership, in this price difference, I got to like Matz over Sandoval. I just think there's more upside, and Matz is just way cheaper. Walker's there. He's fine. Sandy Alcantara, I told you I like him. Logan Gilbert, I like him. I don't think you have to stick to Matz or Sandoval today on the high end, on the higher ownership guys. So I think you can get different. Really, there's a lot of ways to go for pitching today. So with that, I would also say if you're getting a little different pitching, don't worry about paying up for some of the higher owned stacks like the Angels today, who are likely going to be the highest owned, and they are. They're also not that high owned. With 8-game slate, spreads out the ownership quite a bit, so you can get Angels, and they're not too high owned for you. You'll be different enough as long as you don't take the Angels, Sandoval, and Matz together. But they're in a good spot. Like we said, Medina just got called up from AAA. He's a decent prospect, but this Angels offense is good and has some guys that can really put it together. Now, highest projected highest projected. Angels are all over that. We got the Braves in there too. The Braves are reverse Alcantara, though, so take that with a grain of salt. Then we have St. Louis. St. Louis is really interesting to me. Super low owned. Escalfani is getting a little bit of ownership steam. He doesn't pitch that far into games. And then also, if you look at the hitting stuff here, if we go to the barreled balls, St. Louis is all over the top of this. So I definitely think it is interesting to go to that St. Louis today. Dodgers are also kind of interesting. Contreras is a solid pitcher, but he can get got, and this Dodgers team has plenty of guys that can get you. Now, highest ceiling we got today is the Cubs versus Michael Wacha. Michael Wacha has not been good lately. I think the Cubs could very easily get to him today. They're another team that has really good batted balls, barreled balls, profiles, and Wacha 5.47 FIP over his last 5 starts, 1.83 fantasy points per plate attempts. I think there's a lot to like about the Cubs. Cubs could do it. The only thing here, we have not good hitting weather in Wrigley. It is cold. Wind is blowing in, just slightly blowing in. It's not that strong. But Wrigley is one of these fields that is majorly affected by weather. So take that into consideration. Also, Tampa Bay is coming in at one of the ceiling projections here. They are against Hunter Brown, though, who is a good pitcher. So understand that, you are taking a little bit of a risk. Hunter Brown is an exciting young prospect, but he is young. He can get got. And we know Tampa Bay can absolutely get you. So I think all those are interesting. If we go to FIP numbers, as far as FIP, Senega hasn't been great lately. So 5.89 FIP to start his career in the major leagues, not something you love to see. Washington is kind of interesting. They also pop up on the highest value side along with Oakland. So I think you can get a little different. Go Washington. Could also probably sprinkle a little bit of Oakland in versus Sandoval. Sandoval, it's not like he's an ace pitcher there will be some runs given up, and nobody is going to own Oakland. One thing, just obviously, if you're going to stack Oakland, even if it's a 3-man stack, you probably don't want to play Sandoval. Don't think I have to tell you guys that, but just to reiterate it just in case. And let's see who highest fantasy points per minute or per plate attempt. I always say per minute, thinking of basketball. Washington's all over this. So I think there's a lot of ways you can go. Washington is a cheap stack if you do want to pay up for pitchers. Oakland is a cheap stack if you want to pay up for pitchers. Both of those are going to get you away. Angels look great as far as a stack where you're paying up. Dodgers is another good stack today. So I think there's a lot of ways you can go. It's interesting. There's not a lot of great pitchers, and there's still not like at one hitting spot that really stands out. So it's another day where you could kind of pick whoever you want at pitcher, pick whoever you want at as far as who you're stacking, and just get a little different. And hopefully I'll see you at the top of the leaderboards. All right, guys, have a great day. I appreciate you. I will see you back here tomorrow, and good luck. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the video. Have a good one. I will catch you soon. Bye.